What's up, guys? Welcome to Haulin' Weenies, everything hot dogs. In this video, we're gonna do a deeper dive into the Weenie Wagon tour. So I'm gonna show you kind of how we made it, as far as, it's already built, obviously, but I will kind of go through everything piece by piece and hopefully drum up a little bit of inspiration or get some creative juices flowing. We get a lot of questions about this, so finally we're making a little bit better, more in-depth video. So the first thing I got to show you guys is the umbrella. So we get a lot of questions on the umbrella. So what I did was I left it packed down. This is how we travel with it in a bag, and I'm gonna go through here and show you guys how we set it up. So first thing I do is unbag it. It sits and rests in this little bracket, which you'll probably be able to see better after I take it out. But remove it of its sheath, and then if you zoom in here a little bit, the umbrella that we bought, this is a 10-foot by 10-foot cantilevered umbrella. Got it from Bed Bath & Beyond. It comes with this swivel base. Now what we had to do was order a second swivel base to kind of utilize this contraption that we've got. So what I did here is I've got a 6-inch by 1/4-inch piece of flat metal stock here, and it's wider than it needs to be because I wanted to catch some studs here, which you'll probably be able to see a little better when I open it up. And this right here is just a piece of 3/8 by 16 all thread that I drilled and tapped into a little pad down here, and then just welded a little T-handle onto it so that way I can depress it. So it's already pressed all the way in. So what I do is turn this all the way, and then that's gonna allow me, need some WD-40, to stand this up. Then what I do to lock it in is I'll just go ahead and loosen it all the way up, and then that's gonna bite down this way. And what that is right here is just when you're using this as a patio umbrella, this is for your foot to push down on. Obviously this is waist high, so you don't have a foot to push down on, so that's why we've made these little rods here. So anyway, so that part's done. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead, I can usually push this down with one hand just to make it quicker. But anyway, that right there will leave this open and allow me to turn it. See that? So now I gotta turn, un-velcro the umbrella, wants to spill out. Then just crank it open.
It's out of its little thingy over here.
Crank it up, spin it into place, just like yo. And then once you got it where you want it, go ahead and loosen this up. That keeps it locked in. Also have another fail-safe here. Another piece of all thread with a T-handle and 2 jam nuts on it. So this is just an extra fail-safe because right now the only thing keeping this from falling over is this vertical swivel base. Not that it won't work, but the last thing you want is for this to fall on somebody's head while they're buying a hot dog. So come around here, you can see got a secondary hole. Just like that. And then what I'll do is I'll run this nut all the way out. Just kind of hand tighten it. Done deal. And that keeps the umbrella thread it in there a little deeper. That keeps it stout. Then there's more. There's more. We got these little cables up front for the windy days. These I just measured them to length. Made them. They stay right attached to the umbrella. These are just some eye bolts we put in the top here, and then just drilled a hole and did a carabiner for the cable. Put that there. Keeps the umbrella pretty, you know, as stout as an umbrella can be. So, that's really all there is on the umbrella. We get a lot of questions about the umbrella, so it's definitely unique. It's not something I've seen all over the place, so definitely different. And the biggest factor, the biggest kind of benefit is being able to get this in and out of the shop at the end of the day when we're done. So originally this had a roof on it. It just wasn't feasible for us, so we went ahead and went this route for now. But it's nice. Keeps the sun off you, the rain when it's raining. Well, not heavy rain, but for the most part it keeps the rain off. So yeah, that's the umbrella portion. Next thing is these menus. The menu and the sign with the logo on it. These are simply just 16 gauge pieces of sheet metal that we took to a sign guy locally, and we had our menu just kind of revised the way we want it, and he went ahead and did like a vinyl wrap on that, and that's how we come up with our menus. But those are on here all the time. Hot dog sign, Erica made this lovely addition, so when it's starting to get dark out, this lights up. It's really cool. This is our digital payment method. Got this magnet here to keep it from swiveling. Usually we cover this up while we're traveling, but yeah, this is how we do all of our digital payments. Works really nice. Sitting right on top of the cash box that's always there. We made a video on installing that. We actually just put that up 2 weeks ago. So yeah, everything here as far as the sheet metal, we had to do this custom. This isn't something you just buy at the store. This
Whole cart is custom.
Well, that's true. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so the sheet metal, we were resourceful in a sense of doing that ourselves. Yeah. Oh, and siding. The siding. I don't know if you can zoom in on this, but this is just T911, like, you hear the rooster back there. This is chicken coop siding. That's all this is. It's wood with many, many, many coats of paint. So it's nice and thick, and it's held up pretty good. But that's all that is. That's just plain old wood siding. The whole thing is framed with wood lumber. I'll see if I can incorporate a few photos of this, of the build in this video. So you guys can kind of see like what it looked like as a skeleton. On each corner,
there's 4x4 posts, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then between the 4x4 posts is the 2x4s.
Yes.
For studs.
Studs.
Yep.
So yeah.
You never put insulation between them, did you though?
No, just Tyvek. There's no reason to insulate it. But moving on, propane tank. Sorry, propane tank. This is a 100-pound propane tank. Holds about 25 gallons of liquid propane, and that's what runs the table, which I'll show you inside here in just a second. Mounting this again, we just I rolled up some brackets here, some straps, half clamped together obviously, and then they're just welded to some plates on the back side that screw right into a stud. Keeps this propane tank nice and stout. Down below, I drilled and tapped into the base of the propane tank, not the propane tank, guys, not the propane tank, just the base. Okay, made these little brackets here, put them into the base. Just, this is something I wanted to make sure it was nice and secure. Put a little spanner across here to keep it, you know, keep it nice and tight. That's not something we wanted to toy with. Regulator, we've got the regulator with the gauge on it, so this way we can see, you know, where we're sitting at propane wise. So once I kick it on, obviously this thing's nice and full. So we went ahead and got the regulator with the gauge. That fitting never got painted. But anyway, propane tank. That's about all there is. The next thing is we had to make sure we got these movement rated hoses. So any flex line that connects like to an appliance or anything you want to do in flex, you can't just use like the yellow Home Depot gas line. You have to actually get these movement rated hoses. The fire department, at least where we're at, the fire department, the fire marshal won't allow you to just use like the residential stuff. So these are apparently rated for movement. These are quite expensive. These were like $100 a piece. We had to get 3 of them. So yeah, they're pretty pricey. But anyway, that takes us down here to our 1/2-inch gas line. That's what feeds through here, goes in the trailer, runs along the back wall, and that's what fuels up the steam table inside. So water heater, health department most of the time requires you, at least in our area, to have access to hot water for like washing your hands, washing dishes, things like that. So believe it or not, this is actually a camping shower. This is something that you would take camping with you and you just hang it on a tree. When we bought it, it came with like what, a little shower head or something?
Yeah.
So anyway, we picked this up on Amazon for a couple $100. Good deal, works every time. It just takes a 9-volt battery for the igniter, but other than that, kick the gas on, it's call for hot water, and it's on demand, so it's kind of nice. Here's that bracket that I was telling you about. This is where the umbrella rides when we're traveling, and we bag it just so that it's not, you know, flapping in the wind, doesn't collect dust while we're going down the road, things like that. Down below here, we capped everything with drip edge. That way, you know, when we want to spray and wash this off, we went ahead and caulked all the seams and stuff like that. This keeps the water off the mild steel. This was an old trailer that we used. So these are our drains for our wastewater and fresh water. So crack this open when you're done. It'll get rid of all your wastewater. We usually, we got a hose that we hook up to our septic tank, and that's how we get rid of all of our wastewater anyway. Many different areas will require different things. So anyway, we just push ours right to our septic tank. Works great. Let's see. What else can I talk about on the outside? I think that's it. Oh, right here. This is where we hook our power up to. We run this thing off of a... All right, guys, this is the power source. It's a 2200 watt Honda. It's super quiet. Let me show you how quiet. Pretty quiet. That kicks out all the power we need. We take our cord, plug it in here, right there to the trailer. So usually when we're not using this, we can bring it in the shop, plug it in. It'll keep everything in the freezer cold for the next day or whatever you want to do. But when we're out and about slinging dogs, this is how we power it. So there are 100 different ways to power these things. There's solar power, there's generators, obviously, which is what we opted to do. There's deep cell batteries. There's, yeah, well, I guess not 100, but there's a few. But we just went the generator route because, like I said, it's quiet. There's always a place to like tuck this someplace behind something. Even that little bit of noise, if it's distracting anyone, there's always a way to, you know, tuck it around a corner or something like that. It's obsolete. We don't worry about the noise. Neither does anyone else. So that's the route we go, and it's pretty reliable. Never had a problem with the generator. So yeah, that's the route we went with that. But this right here is directly feeding to the panel. That's just 110. And then we got a little door here. This is new this year. It keeps the wind tunnel out. A little extra advertising, and yeah, and keeps things in, so we don't necessarily have to trap, you know, or strap things down. So that's another thing I gotta hit on. We get asked a lot how...
Hold on. So you built the trailer, and then check out that chicken coop that he built. Isn't that beautiful? Such a handy guy.
Squirrel.
Sorry.
Anyway, so we get asked a lot, how do we travel? Like, what do we put over top of it when we travel? The simple answer is nothing. We just make sure everything's put away and we go. That's it. Pack the umbrella down. Make sure we lock it down. Make sure we lock it down.
Anything that's showing can get wet anyways.
Yes.
Everything's covered.
Except the paper towel, but that's just, I just pulled this out for a video. So, anyway, diving inside. The door is new. Couple quirks to it. Whatever. It's functional. None of this is a showpiece. This is all functional. What the customer sees looks nice from what, my belief anyway. We believe it looks nice from where they're standing. But other than that, we've never had a problem selling hot dogs because it's janky, that's for sure. So, we got springs on this for when we, open the door, when you got your hands full and stuff like that. It'll close behind you. Blah, blah, blah. Some old country door springs. The floor. Okay, real quick, I also want to talk about the trailer itself. The trailer itself is a 6-foot by 10-foot chassis. That's what we used. My father-in-law gave us this trailer when we bought our house so that we could travel back and forth to the dump with like stuff when we were remodeling. And it worked out really well, but we just left it out here on the fence line for such a long time, and we got this idea and figured we'd use it for that. So, it's a 6-foot by 10-foot trailer chassis, and we had nothing but the frame was good, and the frame needed some reinforcement, but the axle, it's a 7,500 pound axle, and this thing with fully weighed down weighs about 4,100 pounds. That's with me on it, my wife on it, freezer full of food, water tanks are full, everything. So we're well under weight capacity there, but definitely most 6x10 trailers, from what I believe I've seen anyway, they're about 3,500 pound axles. So don't go building a food trailer on one of those. You want to make sure your axle's it's gonna accommodate what you're putting on here. So anywho, this is a 3/4 inch treated plywood deck that we put on, and then this was just it's a rubber mat. We bought it in a 7-foot by 10-foot roll from Home Depot.
Super thin.
It is pretty thin, and I actually despise it. Believe it or not, if we had to do like a do-over, I would probably use actual ceramic tile. It would actually work a lot better. Tile, or maybe even linoleum to be cheaper. But something that doesn't have this tread on it. Little stuff gets stuck in here. I mean, we spray this thing out to clean it. All we do is pick the tongue of the trailer
This was
up.
literally just clean.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's a pain to clean. It
is kind of a pain. So, anyway, we'll leave that for the do-over section. I got a few things that I would probably redo on this. But, anywho, digging in here from the floor up. The floor, just talked about that. The walls. These are, I framed the walls with just stick lumber. And then I used a 7/16 OSB sheeting on the inside. And then we glued this FRP board on top of that. So this stuff right here is it's fiberglass reinforced board. It cleans up pretty easily, not too bad. But the thing I liked about it was there was no fasteners or anything like that. You just trawl on the glue, stick it to the wall, and you're done. Yeah, so that was really nice. It's food grade, no concerns there.
No
like
combustion.
Yeah, and it's not combustible. That's the other thing. So, let's see the walls, and then this here is a mini fridge. This is just where we keep our cold restock stuff. So like pickles, relish, onions, stuff like that. Anything we got to put in the cooler for restocking, we keep in there. Wife keeps a Red Bull in there from time to time. That works nice. Yeah, stuff like that. The freezer. This is the cash cow right here. It's a 3.5 cubic foot freezer. It holds 1,000 hot dogs, believe it or not, which is great. But we don't usually sell 1,000 hot dogs when we go out in a day anyway. So we actually just started putting ice cream bars in here and selling those as well. And that's been a pretty cool hit.
So Sunshine, if you're watching this, you should add ice cream to your little cart.
If you got room in the freezer.
If you got room.
If you got room. Oh, real quick on the freezer while I'm at it. We went ahead and did this like a built-in style. The fridge, I go ahead and just unplug it and take it out. It's literally probably weighs, what, 20 pounds? It's pretty small.
Yeah.
I take it out, rinse everything down. The fridge is simple. The freezer, on the other hand, I wanted built in. So I had to make these little, these angles to set the freezer inside of. And then I went ahead and sealed it to the floor so that way I can go ahead and spray this whole thing out, not worry about it. The only tricky deal was getting the freezer to open the other way so that we could put it flush into the corner. So what I had to do was take a piece of angle here, piano hinge. I mean, this is like I said, nothing here is a showpiece. It's functional. But yeah, so I went ahead and bolted this through the freezer because if you'll notice, when I open this, you just lost 2 inches there. So having this tight against the wall on that end wasn't an option. So what I had to do was go ahead and figure a way to reverse the freezer to open the other way, and also still breathe out this side. There's a vent on this side, so it has to breathe and things like that. So anyway, it's a little bit of a custom ordeal to make it work, but we made it work and haven't had a problem with it. We always leave this open just so air can flow in and out because it's a freezer and you don't want,
Stink.
Yeah, it'll stink. So keep it open if you're not using it, or if you are using it, just make sure you keep it plugged in and keep it running. So okay, next is the gas meter, carbon monoxide detector, that dealio. The fire marshal requires you to have that, so we have it to make sure that we're not leaking gas vapors out while we're selling dogs and stuff like that. Anyway, legalities. They also require this guy. You see that, babe? Yeah, you guys knew that was in here somewhere, right? Bingo, there it is. All right, and then another deal I'm going to talk about is this prep table, okay? Again, this was something that we bought and modified. We do a lot of that, buy and modify type of stuff. We bought these on Amazon, these prep tables, and all I did was took the legs out because we didn't want the legs. We wanted all this open. And then I just screwed it to the wall, and then I just got a little angle clip right here that I riveted to this steam table, and that supports this front corner, and then the other corner obviously is backed into the corner, so we will go ahead and screw it to the wall. The steam table itself has another piece of brake angle here that I went ahead and just riveted to the side and then anchored that to the wall so that thing don't go nowhere. And that's that. That's how we did that. It's very important to make sure everything's kind of like fastened and fixed into place because you're traveling. So you want everything nice and tight and secure when you're rolling down the road. You don't want to be sweating that stuff. So that was important to us, and I think we knocked it out of the park for the most part. In this space right here, the reason we can't have legs and things like that, this is where we keep like our bun bin and like all of our extra supplies like gloves and napkins, paper boats, all that stuff. This is where we keep those. We can get 2 bins stacked in here perfectly. We use the HDX brand from Home Depot. They work really well and they clean up well, and that's what we put in this little cavity right here. So yeah, the steam table, this is a Centennial brand. It's 2 wells, and yeah, so basically they're 7,500 BTU burners on each side. I hate that. If I had a do-over, I'd do much bigger. I would like to be able to prep everything right here, but unfortunately we use a camp stove off the back to bring everything up to temp. This simply keeps it warm, so that's going to get addressed eventually, whether it be this trailer or the next one. So anyway, these little guys here, this is just a little marble track. This is where we keep tickets. If you're new to the channel and haven't seen us run, we got plenty of videos out there that just kind of show us slinging hot dogs and stuff like that, so you can actually kind of see how things are running. I just wanted to give people an in-depth tour of, like, kind of take my time and let everybody see what's going on here. So yeah, we use this one. This bay is where we keep our dogs, so this goes directly to heat. This just holds water and keeps all of our hotel pans here for like hot toppings, like chili, sauerkraut, mac and cheese, pulled pork, things like that. Yeah. Yeah. Another reset. We never use it. Cold storage. This here is custom to the cart this year, and this is double wall, and we went ahead and mounted it to the wall. Keep it out of the way, so we still got like space for our buns right here. This is where we usually stash buns. It just plugs, so that way when we're done, we fill this thing up with ice. We put our cold condiment holders in there, and it keeps it cold all day long. It's fantastic. And when we're done, pull the plug, you know, put a pan under it, obviously. Drains in the pan. Nothing to it. So that's new. We like that. Couple slots for spoons, big spoons if you want. Yeah, so that's how we do all of our cold hold stuff. Over here we have the sink. So this countertop right here is actually the same as this prep table as I just showed you guys. It's the same one. We bought 2 of them. So went ahead and used the other one over here. I fastened it to the wall just like I did the other side. And then what I did was I cut slots in them and dropped these sinks in there. And obviously cut the faucets. Basically, I just used the prep table as another countertop. This side is hand wash, and then you've got your wash, rinse, and sanitize bins. In Michigan, you gotta have 3 sinks for dishes and 1 strictly dedicated to hand wash. And then what I did to hide all the ugliness, which I'm gonna show you the ugliness here in just a minute, is I just made a sheet metal enclosure with an opening. Again, not beautiful. This was like a temporary thing that turned out to be a permanent thing, and that's just how I get in here. So underneath, I'm not a plumber. So down here we have wastewater tank, which is 16 gallons. Then we have a freshwater tank, which is 10 gallons. It's required to be 30% larger. So your wastewater is required to be 30% larger than your freshwater. Obviously this one's 60% larger. Above and beyond, I suppose. Anyway, this is a backflow preventer. Basically, it's to prevent anything from coming from your wastewater tank back up into your sink and things like that. That's just a straight up plastic weld by yours truly. You're welcome. Like I said, not a plumber. I just kind of did what I could. This actually was the part I was rushed on when we got done building it last winter. This was the last thing that I had to do was the plumbing, and I feel like I was running out of time, and I just made it work. So we've got a PEX tubing that runs from the water pump. That's a 12-volt water pump. And we've got a inverter right here that just turns 120 into 12-volt, whatever. You can see that right there. This plugs into 110, and then your 12-volt appliances can hook up to that, and that's how that gets powered. But anyway, your hot water right here, you see the red line up under there, that jets to both faucets and then out to the water heater. So we had to feed the water heater and then with cold water, and then back inside with hot water, and then obviously cold water just gets pumped directly from the tank into the water pump. So, and then anyway, we keep other little, you know, rags and things like that under here. Sanitizer, bleach, scrubby pads, stuff like that. Just any kind of miscellaneous stuff we want to stash. That's a good spot for it. So, yeah. But anyway, that's underneath the cabinet. That all gets hidden for obvious reasons. Yeah. Soap dispenser, of course. We've got a switch for our water pump to turn it on and off. If you missed the cash drawer video, this is the cash drawer. Wow, that's a good example of that. That's the cash drawer. Yeah. We added on these caps right here. I had a bunch of extra. I just made these up in 10-foot lengths, and then I cut them to fit in all their places. We had some extra, and I wanted to extend this shelf a little bit. So I just went ahead and modified one of these, and just to add on a little bit of shelf space for Erica when she's doing her thing. Set hot dogs on, things like that. All right, guys, so that is the kind of version 2.0 of the Weenie Wagon tour. That's what we call it, is the Weenie Wagon. Some people call it a food trailer. Some people call it a hot dog cart.
Weenie wagon.
Call it whatever you want. Sometimes I call it a little ATM machine. This thing's fantastic. Yeah. And we had a budget of about $10,000, and we came in just under $10,000 to build this thing. And it's well and returned itself. So that's the coolest thing about hot dogs. There's not a lot of things out there that you can throw a little bit of money at and get such a massive return so quickly. So that's super cool, and we're glad we did it. So anyway, I know I've had a lot of questions about
Sir. Hi, sir. We grew him on our countertop, guys.
We're talking hot dog
I
cart.
know, but look at the Sinister. His name is Cinder. His daddy died in February from a possum protecting the other ladies.
That's
He's
my
got
microphone.
stuff to say. Yep. He's a
Don't
good
do it.
boy.
Don't do it. Anyway, sorry guys.
He's so handsome. Let him talk. He got stuff to say.
So a bulk of the questions that we get actually come from, do you guys have schematics or any sort of plans that we could sell? If I had some, I wouldn't even sell them. I'd just give them away. There's nothing special or patenty about this thing whatsoever.
Yeah, we've had people call and say, like, would you be upset if we copied your cart?
Right.
And like, yeah, please copy it.
Yeah.
It's a cool cart.
By all means. So I just wanted to do another in-depth kind of walk around to hopefully, maybe I missed something the first time, but we get a lot of questions, people wanting to either buy plans or buy the cart itself. Can't buy this cart, by the way. And I don't have plans for it. I don't have anything documented or anything like that. So taking the time to just kind of walk you guys around it, if that helps, hopefully. If there's something that I missed, let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to respond and answer your questions. I feel like I've done a fair job at trying to answer everybody's questions when I get to them. So if I missed anything, let me know. And yeah, and if there's anything else you want to see, let us know too. We'll either make another video or find a way to get you the answer. So anyway, hopefully this helps, and hopefully it inspires some creative hot doggers out there. And again, this platform isn't necessarily just hot dog platform. You can do anything out of here. So yeah, mobile vending, food vending is fantastic, really rewarding, and pretty low cost investment, honestly. So if we had any do-over, I would just throw more money at going all out, because at first we were kind of nervous, you know, like, oh, I don't know how long it's gonna take to get our money back, and think we've never done anything food-wise before.
We got our money back for it in the first month.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So yeah, definitely a lot of K's to stack up in this deal. So if we had to restart and do it again, which we are going to do it again, just not, we don't have the time right now, but we'd just really go all out and dive in, because it's quite rewarding. So anyway, this is our hot dog cart, our Weenie Wagon, and hopefully you guys found this useful. If you did, like, subscribe. If you want to see what it's like running a hot dog cart out in the world, we got plenty of videos on that. And anything else you want to see, just holler, and we'll do it. See you guys.